the Indian nurse Nimisha Priya, who has been convicted to a death sentence in Yemen.
Kerala nurse's life in jeopardy. Can blood money save Nimisha's life? A planned murder or escape gone wrong?
Indian nurse Nimisha Priya is in line for execution within a month after Yemen's President Rashad al-Alimi approved a death sentence for her. In Yemen, remember, she can be executed either by beheading or shooting, which is used in cases of murder, or stoning or crucifixion, which are used for other crimes, but they're used to show public display of discipline as well. Now, Nimisha Priya has been convicted of murdering Yemen national Talal Abdo Mehdi in July 2017 after she injected him with sedatives to get back her passport from his possession. As a trained nurse, Nimisha Priya worked in private hospitals in Yemen, and in 2015, she and Mehdi opened a clinic in partnership as the country's law allows only the nationals to establish business there. But later that year, when Mehdi accompanied Nimisha to Kerala for a month-long holiday, he stole a wedding photograph of Nimisha, which he later manipulated to claim that he was married to her. Mehdi had also been accused of manipulating the ownership documents of the clinic and taking money out of her monthly earnings and seizing her passport. He also reportedly tortured her under the influence of drugs and threatened her at gunpoint several times. In 2017, when Nimisha could not take it anymore and didn't get any help from the police there, the authorities there, she tried twice to sedate him and convince him to return her documents. Her second attempt, though, proved fatal for Mehdi. The Indian Ministry of External Affairs has assured that the government is going to be extending all possible help to Nimisha's family. Let's try and get a perspective on this on Global Mirror. I'm joined by Advocate Subhash Chandran. He is the family lawyer of Nimisha Priya. I'm also joined by Ambassador Suresh Goyal. Good evening and namaskar to both of you. Advocate Subhash Chandran, first to you, this is a very, very tough time for you and the family of Nimisha Priya. But now that the death sentence has been approved by the Yemeni's president, what are you looking at? What are the kind of legal options that you are looking at right now as far as this case is concerned?
Shreya, actually, we are still hopeful as the Yemen, the Sharia law prevails. So, according to Sharia law, if the victim's family is ready to accept the blood money and pardon the accused, then his or her life will be saved. So, in this case, the victim's family is not yet come to the negotiation table. So, we are looking forward. We are looking hopefully to reach out to the family of the victim, and we are hopeful that we can convince the victim's family for pardoning her by receiving the blood money. So now the difficulty is, having said that, now the difficulty before us is there is a travel ban to Yemen. This is not like any other GCC country. This would have been in any other GCC country. Indian diasporas are there. The Indian community leaders are there who can help us. But in Yemen, there is a travel ban since 2016. Indian diasporas are not there. So the community leaders are not there. So only the Indian embassy or the Indian mission or Ministry of External Affairs can bring the family to the negotiation table. We, the Nimisha Priya International Action Council, we are urging the Indian government to bring the family to the negotiation table. And we need that help only. We are ready to pay the blood money from our pocket. We are ready to pay the blood money by raising a public fund from the society. We don't want even a single penny from the government of India. But we want the help from the Ministry of External Affairs for bringing the family to the negotiation table. They can, only the Indian government, they are the major stakeholder, the key player in this, they can only play a key role in this issue. So we are urging the Indian government, the Ministry of External Affairs to help us to bring the family to the negotiation table.
Have you been communicated to by anybody in the Indian government as of now when the president gave his approval? Has there been any response, any communication yet?
No, we, the Nimisha Priya International Action Council or the mother of the family members of the Nimisha Priya is not received any communication, official communication yet. Only we have learned this from the news report. And thereafter, the first it was reported by the media, and thereafter, yesterday, a one-line press note came from the Ministry of External Affairs saying that they will extend all kinds of support. We welcome that
Okay.
statement, but we need an immediate action from the Indian government, because there is a time frame, there is a time limitation now. So the time started day before yesterday, means on 25th
Yes.
of this month. So I understand that the president has signed the document, the papers on 25th or 26th of this month. So the news break out on 30th only. So now we have very limited time before us. So Indian government has to take a call on this, and they will have to act swiftly to save the life of Ms. Nimisha Priya.
Sure. Advocate Subhash Chandran, can I also understand from you, this case of Nimisha has been going on for a long time. Was there any attempt from your side, the family's side, in all of this time to get in touch with Mehdi's family to, sort of negotiate or have that understanding that you are aiming to achieve right now?
Actually, we tried in the last, she was sentenced to death by the trial court in 2020 itself. Then, when the news came in the media, then only we came to know. We immediately formed an action council called the same name, the International Action Council. Since then, we are fighting, we are negotiating, we are pushing the Indian government to do something in this matter. And with our pressure only, the Indian government, the Ministry of External Affairs, appointed a lawyer, a local lawyer in Yemen, to contest her case in the First Appellate Court and the Supreme Judicial Council. Thereafter, the same lawyer has said us he will negotiate with the tribal leaders there, and they need a financial support for that. He demanded 40,000 USD for the pre-negotiation money to negotiate with the tribal leaders, which we have sent in 2 installments. We have sent 6 months back 20,000 USD, and recently on last Friday we have sent 20,000 more USD for as pre-negotiation money. But still, the negotiation with the tribal leaders or negotiation with the family is not taken place. So we understand there are limitations in this matter. So only the government can. Only the government means considering the prevailing political situation in Yemen. Only the Indian government can play a major role, and they can only bring the family to the negotiation table.
Right. Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goyal, all eyes and of course a lot of hope now lies with the External Affairs Ministry, with the Indian government. Can I get an understanding from you, what are the options in front of the Indian government? How can it go about it in such a sensitive and crucial case?
Shreya, having listened to what the lawyer had to say about the case, 2 or 3 things that come to my mind immediately. Number one, to me at least, it is quite clear that Nimisha was acting to protect her own security. Her travel document had been seized by the gentleman. Now, nobody can actually take seizure of the travel document. Even in the case of the workers, the labor who go to work in any country, the travel document must remain in possession of the worker. And in this particular case, if Nimisha's passport had been seized by, it should have been returned to him. Therefore, I do think that maybe there was some kind of the way the case was fought, and the right point had to be put across that the travel document must be returned to her. I don't know why that was not done. However, be that as it may, the case against her was that she killed so-and-so. That is punishable by death. The punishment has been given. The Indian embassy, which actually, I think at the moment, it is our ambassador in Saudi Arabia who looks after our interest in Sana. If Indian embassy has to act formally, there is a distinction between informal and the formal approaches. Formal approach can be made only in accordance with the existing agreements between the governments of India and Yemen. And that is a repatriation of Indian people in prisons in Yemen. That is one part. But if you want to talk about getting the family of the victim to the table for negotiations, that can only be done in an informal manner. And I'm quite certain that given the circumstances, the Indian embassy will do everything possible to try and see if that family can come to the table to negotiate. And if after the payment of the blood money, Nimisha is released, well and good. I think in this particular case, my own firm belief is that sufficient grounds exist for us to talk to the government of Yemen in terms of the repatriation treaty and see if she cannot be repatriated back to India to face whatever sentence is justifiable. 2020, there were people who were arrested by the government of Yemen in certain other case, and they were all repatriated back to India. And then they came back to India. So therefore, my sense would be that after exhausting this course of blood money, we should talk in terms of repatriation or Nimisha back to India. Yes.
But Ambassador Goyal, there's also something that I want to understand from you, and for the benefit of our viewers. This, of course, is a step that she was forced to take because of the kind of torture that she was facing at the hands of Mehdi. But at the same time, there are acts of self-defense which are instant, which are immediate in the moment. But this will then perhaps come under the fact that you had already planned it and then you executed it. You did not perhaps expect the result that you were expecting, but there was a certain intention of sedating the man. And therefore, then that law comes in where you are held guilty and you're not pardoned.
This is a complication. And therefore, what I says here is, it has to be the mix of law existing on the ground over there, the agreements which exist between India and Yemen, and also the relationship between India and Yemen. India has been very, very helpful to Yemen in the past, including the period of health emergencies, so many Yemenis studying in India. I'm sure that taking view of the overall relationship, the government of Yemen is going to take a judicious view of the government request, and I'm sure they will listen to our case very, shall I say, effectively. But I think after trying the blood money case, we have to try for the repatriation, and whatever the case is, we know that there are sufficient grounds for her to act under distress. These are also the cases, suppose she goes to the police station and she has said that she was not given sufficient redressal by the police.
Yes.
And therefore you feel under pressure to how to get your passport back. That's a very extenuating argument.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Ambassador Subhash Chandran, do you want to come in on this? The kind of torture and harassment that Nimisha has gone through this entire time is out there. We all know of the kind of problems and challenges that she had faced. Her passport was seized, something that is extremely crucial for an Indian who's living abroad. And the kind of physical and mental torture that she had to go through. But the fact of the matter is that it is because of the kind of torture and harassment that she was facing that she was forced to take such a step. During this battle in the courts there, when this point was put across, what's the kind of feedback that was given? What's the kind of response that Yemen gave that time, Yemeni's authorities gave that time? Was there any benefit of doubt given at that point in time?
Shreya, actually, the Nimisha Priya is a victim of war. In 2017, when she was arrested for alleging this case, the murder of Mr. Abdul Mahdi, the civil war was going on intensively in Yemen. So she didn't get a proper legal defense there. She didn't get a lawyer to defend her case. She was forced to sign many confessional documents which was in Arabic language. She does not know Arabic language. But the documents were in Arabic language, and there was no interpreters. Interpreters were not there. So she had to sign many confessional documents, and she didn't get a proper legal defense also. So this led to her this capital punishment by the trial court. about this issue, and we requested the Indian government. We filed some cases in Delhi High Court. So thereafter only, in the first appellate court only, she got the legal support. And unfortunately, the first appellate court also dismissed her appeal, but it was open this option for the blood money in her appeal. So then thereafter, the Supreme Judicial Council also reviewed her appeal, but it was also rejected. So she didn't get a proper legal defense during the civil war in Yemen, and she is a victim of war. That we are calling Nimisha as a victim of war, and she didn't get a proper legal defense, and that led to her this capital punishment.
Okay. All right. So we'll have to wait and watch, of course, how this entire sensitive case pans out, especially considering the fact that, as Ambassador Goyal said, there are friendly relations between India and Yemen. So a lot of hope lies there as well. And there is a lot of loophole in the kind of, non-help, the kind of lack of help that Nimisha had to face all of this time until this step was taken. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much to both of you, Advocate Subhash Chandran and Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goyal, for joining us on Global Mirror and helping us understand this case a bit better. Our wishes, of course, with Nimisha Priya as she fights for her life. Let's wait and watch what comes of that negotiation that might happen between India and Yemen in this entire case.